The Acura TLX is one of the best looking small performance luxury sedans on the market, and for 2024 we've got a ton of changes, and in this video we're going over exactly what Acura did to the 2024 TLX, talking about the changes to the specs and a bunch of changes on the inside. They've really addressed some of the weak points of the TLX, and in this video we're going to tell you everything you need to know. So the TLX has been out for a couple of years now, and we do see some styling differences for the 2024 model year, primarily at the front. We've got this new frameless grille design, which really sharpens up the front end of the vehicle. I really like this crisp line where the grille meets the front fascia. It's just very deliberate. It's very uncluttered, and I think it's a nice look. And one of the big changes is they have drastically changed how they incorporate the radar sensors into the front of the vehicle. So it used to be a little bit clunky in the way they integrated it, but now we've got this beautiful seamless Acura logo that hides all of the sensors in this one elegant design. It's just a much better look. They've really simplified the front end a lot. I really like this frameless grille, both on this A-Spec and the TLX Type S we'll look at in a second, but yeah, that's a really big change to Acura fans, and I think they're really going to like that design a lot. Now let's talk about some of the trim walk options, because when TLX launched, it had a lot of different packages and options, and it was a little bit fussy and a little bit messy. Well, for the 2024 model year, you get 3 trims, and they all basically come bundled as they come. So you've got the TLX with technology package, you get the A-Spec, which is this car, and then you get the Type S. Much simplified. Now, the base car is going to come only in front-wheel drive, the A-Spec is going to come only in all-wheel drive, and the Type S is also only going to come in all-wheel drive. And another change are these wheels. So this is a new 19-inch wheel design with this split 5-spoke design in shark gray, and one subtle change is you might notice they've actually gone to black lugs, which really freshens up the look of the wheel design. I think that's quite a nice look. Coming along the side, no major sheet metal changes to discuss on the TLX. It's all got the same doors and the same roof design, but we actually have new sensors integrated into the quarter panel for the blind spot system, and it's supposed to be a much more advanced system that can detect vehicles coming at from speed from a further distance. So new sensors integrated there. And then out back, a couple of changes. So we've got a new aero treatment with a new spoiler, a little bit more aggressive. I love this little streamlined look with that aggressive angle that kind of comes to a point right here at the tip of the trunk. And then out back on this A-Spec, we also have these new finishes for the dual exhaust, these round aggressive dual exhaust finish, which I think looks really cool. So if you want the look of a Type S, but maybe you don't want to pay the premium, or you don't need that monster 3-liter twin scroll turbo with 355 horsepower, the A-Spec could be a good option because you get a lot of the same look without having to pay for the performance. And speaking of that performance, let's pop the hood, Zach, and we'll show them the engine. So as I mentioned, every version except for the base TLX with technology is going to come with the super handling all-wheel drive, and the standard engine underneath the hood is a 2-liter 4-cylinder turbo. Now this engine makes good power, 272 horsepower, and the super handling all-wheel drive can shift up to 70% of available torque to the rear wheels. Of course, the standard car, 2-wheel drive, it's a front-wheel drive vehicle, transversely mounted, but this is a turbocharged engine, and we've got the 10-speed automatic transmission coupled to this 4-cylinder. But Zach, let's pop into the inside, because that's where we're going to see a lot of big changes for the 2024 model year, specifically with technology. Now this A-Spec does come with these nice, rather deep set bucket seats, and we've got kind of this perforated look with the suede inserts, good bolstering, and I really like the red stitching throughout. They've actually added more stitching for 2024, so we've always had stitching up here on the dash, but now we've got an additional stitch panel through the center of the dash. And then if you want to focus on the doors, we also have new stitching on the door cards, which makes the interior feel more premium. And speaking of feeling more premium, the TLX now receives refinement updates to the interior in terms of quietness. So it's got new acoustic glass, it's got thicker carpets, it's got more sound deadening to kind of help keep the interior a little bit quieter. Now let me let some light in here by opening up the rather small sunroof. From a technology standpoint, we have a new standard 12.3-inch cluster screen, which is a big improvement in my opinion. Helps make the car feel a lot more premium. It's configurable, got a lot of different information. You can see what the super handling all-wheel drive is doing, and the G meter. You've got some driver assistance there. Really nice touch there. And then we also have a large 12.3-inch display up here as well. Now, not only is the screen new, but they've also increased the processing power. I'm going to pull up my notes here just so I get it right. Faster processor for the true touchpad and internal computer to this display. So we still have the little touchscreen touchpad down here to control the screen. It's never been my favorite feature that Acura has implemented. What is nice though is we now have standard wireless Apple CarPlay and standard wireless Android Auto. Huge deal, right? So, you know, I've complained about this little touchpad in the past, but honestly, if you hook up your phone to Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, it doesn't really matter, right? You solve all those infotainment issues. Now, apart from that, this is still a very attractive interior for me. I really think that Acura has the best steering wheels in the industry. I genuinely mean this. They are perfectly bolstered. They've got beautiful quality buttons, and I love the perforation contrasting with this red stitching. They just come to hand beautifully. We've got the standard suite of Acura safety technology in these vehicles. So you've got automatic emergency braking. We talked about the blind spot monitoring, adaptive cruise control. That all comes standard in the Type S, which is great. We're gonna hop in the rear seat. Now, the rear seat of the Type S has always been fairly tight, and I think we're gonna find the same thing to be true for the new TLX. Yeah, you know, this is running out of headroom at about 6 feet tall. Legroom is okay, but could definitely use a little bit more headroom. This is a 5-passenger vehicle, and then you have dual USB-C outlets back there, which is nice for if rear folks want to charge up their devices. So for taller passengers, not a great rear seat, but for shorter passengers, a decent amount of room. Now let's talk about the Type S version of the TLX. So horsepower, torque, fuel economy is unchanged on every version of the TLX. So the Type S still gets that 3-liter V6 twin scroll single turbo. It makes 355 horsepower and 354 pound-feet of torque. The Type S is, of course, the high-performance version of the TLX. Actually, one of my favorite driving new cars on the road today. Acura, at least in the current one, has done a great job of balancing a performance driving experience with a comfortable daily drivable ride. And that's something that the German competition has really struggled with in the past. Now, of course, this isn't on the same level horsepower-wise as like a BMW M3, but it certainly is beating or up there with the current level of M Sport BMWs, and it's a great sounding engine. It's got a lot of character, made into that 10-speed automatic, and of course the standard super handling all-wheel drive. This is, by the way, a new color. This is a fantastic gray, and Zach, if you want to kind of get close, you might be able to see the pearlescent finish. This is called Urban Gray Pearl. It's available on the A-Spec and the Type S only, and I think it's a really nice color. It's got this kind of gold fleck in it. Acura, by the way, may in some cases use the same colors as the equivalent Honda vehicles, but they use a different process for the clear coat, which gives the Acura cars a different shine compared to some of the Honda products. But we're going to check out some of the interior features on the Type S because there are some nice options bundled into the Type S that you don't get on any other TLX. And we're going to start over here, Zach. We got the heads-up display on the Type S, a very desirable feature that Acura says folks have really been excited about. And then we also have the 360-degree camera. The door's open, which is why it's a little confused there, but you can see all the way around the vehicle. That's really great. This Type S still has a lot of the same great features we saw in the A-Spec. You still have the amazing steering wheel, the 12.3-inch display. You still got the red stitching, new red stitching across the dash. So interior-wise, you know, not that different compared to the A-Spec, but it's a comfortable place. Nice aggressive bucket seats, nothing too racy though. Nice paddle shifters across the steering wheel here. It's a very nice place to spend time. Now, let's talk about pricing and availability on these two. We'll finish up at the rear of the Type S. So, This vehicle goes on sale starting at the end of November of this year, and we don't know pricing, but the Acura folks tell me it's pretty much in line with what the current TLX pricing is, with a couple slight price bumps here and there. Keep in mind, they have discontinued the base TLX. So the standard MSRP is probably going to go up quite a bit, but if you compare like a TLX with technology to the equivalent one that you can buy today, it should be pretty similar. So I would figure pricing starting in like the mid $40,000 range. Very competitive class, the small luxury performance-oriented sedan class. A lot of German competitors. Of course, Lexus is in that competitive set as well, along with Infiniti. But I think from a design standpoint, Acura is leading the pack, especially if we look at the rear of this Type S with the quad exhaust tips. You can get an optional, like a dealer installed accessory here. We can get a carbon rear diffuser, which is very cool. But these are just such attractive cars in my mind. You know, I think an underrated design. We're going to look back at this design in 15, 20 years and think, wow, that really was very cool. You get the fantastic Honda Acura reliability and same fuel economy figures as the current one as well. Well guys, let me know what you think in the comment section below. A big thank you to Zach behind the camera for making this video happen, and we'll see you in the next one.